Hello and welcome to the Flagstaff County podcast. I'm your host, Cary Castagna, Communications Coordinator for Flagstaff County. In today's episode, we have a very special young athlete from the Galahad area, ski cross racer Maren Vincett. Welcome, Maren.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy you could have me today.
You're listening to the official podcast of Flagstaff County. I should point out that we are on location conducting this interview at the Valley Ski Hill near Alliance because, Maren, while there's no snow right now, this is where you got your start in skiing. So let's talk about the early beginnings. Can you tell us about your earliest memories skiing at the Valley Ski Club?
So my earliest memories would consist of coming down here every Thursday and Saturday for my Nancy Greene lessons, normally led by my dad, Maren Vincett, and a close family friend, Gary Thompson. And we would be down here Thursday, Saturday nights for lessons, mornings on Saturdays, and then just bombing around the ski hill the rest of the weekend. Climbing the cliff that is no longer here but holds a special place in my heart from my childhood and continues to be a good place for young people to come learn how to ski.
Now, when's the last time you were here?
I didn't make it down this past season, which with how busy my ski cross competitions have been, was very sad for me. But I was down here the year before when it would have been in my grade 12 year. I would come down and I taught lessons for the Nancy Greene program as well as private lessons and also some school lessons as well.
All right. Well, that's why we had to do the interview here because, this is a big part of your childhood. So can you explain how did your experiences at the Valley Ski Club shape your career in ski cross?
Well, growing up here, there was no pressure to confine or put all of your eggs in one basket to just do alpine. I was able to learn how to ski and do gates, as well as take part in the Jumps and Bumps program that was offered here at the Valley. So from a young age, I was able to both do alpine and freestyle, and I think those are like the two most important parts of ski cross and set me in the right direction for that.
Yeah, so that gave you a really good foundation and you kind of just built from there, right?
Most definitely.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about the transition to ski cross. What motivated you to switch from traditional skiing to ski cross?
Growing up, there was people who came from the Valley before me, the triplets, Becca. They first found an interest in ski cross, and then there was this camp at Sunridge in Edmonton. And my dad wanted to go to it, and my sister wanted to go to it, and ultimately I was brought along for the ride. And that was kind of the first camp that I went to and where I was first introduced to the sport. And from there, I just started doing more and more races into the sport and fell in love with it.
And how old were you at the time?
I would have been around 9 or 10 at the time-ish, I think.
Oh, so the perfect age to start.
I wouldn't say the perfect age to start, but being introduced to it is definitely good. Like being a multi-sport athlete gives you so many skills on and off the snow and in life. Being able to move and compete in different places and like on the courts or in the field, and it's unmatched coming from that background.
All right, and what challenges did you face when you first started competing in ski cross?
I would definitely say the balance between traditional ski racing and ski cross, having to balance what races you go to, where your friends are at, which one you want to pick. Even now, I struggle with my size, so obviously gravity is your friend. And mass moves mass. So being smaller, it's a little harder to keep up with some of those girls that are 5'7", 5'8", and got a couple extra pounds on you. They just move a bit more than you do. So that's been a challenge from the beginning and still something that's a challenge today, but working on that.
All right, now let's get into your training and preparation. What does your typical training regimen look like during the off season and leading up to competitions?
So it is the off season currently. I'm working on plyometrics to keep myself speedy and fast, those fast twitch muscle fibers. Not to mention building muscle mass and strength. I am fortunate enough to be part of the Dyno's ski cross program through the University of Calgary. And with that program comes a dryland coach. And he creates my programs and makes sure that they're tailored to my sport and the things that I need to work on to become a better ski cross athlete.
Okay, and how do you balance physical training with mental preparation?
I definitely think leading up to competition, the physical training isn't as strict as it is during my dryland season. You start to focus more on how you can improve yourself mentally, how you can stay consistent, understanding that ups and downs do happen, but you just want to be the best that you can be, and it's okay that if it takes time, that you don't have to be hard on yourself for that.
Okay, and did you want to add anything else about your training regimen when it's during the season?
So when I'm competing, obviously you don't want to be too tired before a race. So sleep is important. As far as mental preparation goes, we watch back video, we see what we did well, what we did wrong, and we can focus on that for our next training runs. We enter into a deload right before competition, which is removing weights and focusing more on speed and ability to move that weight quickly rather than building strength and tiring our muscles. And it's important to be refreshed and ready going into a competition, as they are normally 4-day long competitions rather than just 1 or 2.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you a little bit about your competition insights. Can you walk us through a typical race day? What are your routines and rituals?
Race day is a little complicated because as ski cross, it's normally a 3 to 4 day competition. So we start off on normally a Thursday or a Friday, and those are our official training days. We get to get on the course, our inspections, see what the course is like, decide what moves we're going to make over certain features. That leads us into our qualification day, which is the following day, where we get on the track solo and it is timed, and we get on the track and it's timed, and we get seated into a bracket, and that bracket is going to be what we use for our, what would be considered the actual race day, the day following, normally on the Saturday or the Sunday. As far as the pure race day goes, it's normally an early morning, followed by sitting in the lodge, maybe watching video, getting warmed up, stretching, dynamic and static stretching, making sure that you're there mentally and getting up to that mental level of competition, and you have to stay in that level from 9 o'clock in the morning until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You get out on the hill, get your skis up to the start, warm-up runs, inspection, training runs, where you're not just with your team, but you're running training runs with other athletes. And when I was in Sweden, it was other countries and it was international, so it was just a whole different group of skiers than what I've been competing against the rest of the year. You do your competition awards, and then you have to go home and you have to prep your skis for the next day and make dinner, stretch out, do video, and it's a pretty packed day by the time you're running from the minute you wake up until your head hits the pillow, and then you do it all again the next day if it's a 2-day race.
Wow, sounds very involved, but you must love it. I mean, this is what you love to do, right?
Yeah, it takes a toll on you, that's for sure. The long days and the hard work that you put into your skis, keeping them fast, but the hard work pays off when you're standing on the podium, that's for sure.
All right. What is the most challenging aspect of competing in ski cross?
I'd say it's the fact that not only do you affect how your results pan out, but it's also everyone around you. So in Alpine, when you race, it's you and the course, and the time that you get is strictly based on how you compete and how you run the course. And at the end of the day, like, that's all that's said and done. But in ski cross, when there's 3 other people in the course with you, and it depends on what line they take, if you're in front, if you're in third, everyone skis differently, everyone has different moves that they do, and someone could crash and take you out, someone could crash and you could go on to the next round, and it's a gamble what you're going to get every time you pull out of the start gate.
But that's the fun part about it, right? It's so unpredictable.
I definitely say it's an adrenaline rush, that's for sure.
All right, moving on to memorable moments. What has been the most memorable race or moment in your ski cross career so far?
I'd have to say going to Sweden. It was just a completely different caliber of race than what I've been used to the rest of my career. It was an international level, and I was fortunate enough that our national team has the resources to make it easy for us. So we had ski technicians that did our skis, and physio and coaches, and it was just a completely different ball game being over in Sweden and having all those resources from the national team. And the course that I competed on is one of the biggest and meanest courses on the World Cup circuit. So to be able to go and race that iconic course, it was just surreal.
Oh, can you talk a little bit more about that as far as being the meanest course? It's pretty unforgiving then, right?
It's pretty unforgiving. It's 1 minute and 20 seconds long and 5 turns followed by probably a mile straightaway at the bottom. The start is mellow as far as World Cup starts go, but between each turn there's a minimum of probably 5-6 rollers and jumps all in between. And when you come around that 5th turn, it's this big knoll and drop into a jump followed by another jump and then 15 to 20 rollers to the finish line. And that 5th turn, your legs are dying, but you know that, like, that final stretch, it's do or die. If you're willing to give more than the person beside you, then you're gonna win it. But if you can't dig deep and pull that out, that course will eat you.
That's very cool. Okay, other than Sweden, have there been any particular races that significantly impacted your career?
I'd say this whole season has been a turning point for my ski cross career. I was able to go out east and down into the States, and throughout those 3 NORAM races, I was able to break through to 100 points. And what that symbolizes in the ski cross world is that means I get to start a World Cup. I have enough points to do so. I'm a good enough skier, is what they see it as. And that has been like a long-term goal of mine for the past couple years.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, I just want to move to inspiration and motivation. Who are your biggest inspirations in the world of skiing and why?
Starting off from the very beginning was definitely my sister. She was the one who always gave me advice, who always pushed me to try things and do things, and brought me to that very first ski cross camp with her. She continues to be involved in the ski cross world, coming down to the valley and running a ski cross camp this winter. And then recently there's been 2 people on the national team who I really idolize, and that's Britt Phelan and Reese Howden. Britt Phelan has come back from multiple injuries and just has a certain level of grit that no one else can match. She was the leading second place. In every race that she competed, she would always get second place. Every time she podiumed, it would be second place. And this had been for the past 5 to 10 years. And finally this year she got her gold medal, and it was a long, long road, but she 100% deserved it. And Reese Howden is one of the nicest people that I've met on the ski cross circuit. He took time off of ski cross to complete his schooling, which I'd really admire, being a student athlete myself. And I really appreciate him showing that in a world of high-level sport, you can still take time to do things that you enjoy and finish your other accomplishments that you want to get in life.
All right. Now, what keeps you motivated during tough times or after setbacks?
I definitely think I lean more towards Reese Howden in that aspect, that there's more to life than skiing. While it is a huge part of my life at the moment, having school and having friends that I know I can always pivot to and spend time with and take my mind off of skiing for a little bit until I'm ready to get back and give it a go again, definitely helps. And not to mention having a community behind me, as well as a supportive family, like my mom and my dad, sister, brother. And yeah, it's just unmatched coming from this community and having those people behind me.
Yeah, it sounds like you just have to have some balance in your life, right?
Absolutely. You can never 100% commit to it, because if it fails, not saying that it will, but you're not left with that much. So you always have to make sure to have balance, and it's okay to take a break from school to pursue skiing and vice versa, but you just have to have your people there that are going to support you during it.
All right. Now, what advice would you give to young skiers who aspire to compete in ski cross?
I definitely would say, similar to my upbringing, don't be afraid to try new things. If you're in alpine, don't be afraid to hit a jump. If you're in freestyle, don't be afraid to work on your alpine abilities. I'd say going into the backcountry, like Lake Louise, Sunshine, getting on different terrain, that's what's going to make you a better skier, and ultimately what's going to make you feel more comfortable in the air and moving from track to track. And I just think you need to have fun with it, and you can't make it too serious and lose that aspect of fun.
All right. Now, you touched on this a little bit previously, but how important is the support of family and community in pursuing a career in ski racing?
I truly think it takes a village. You can never do anything alone. When I went to Sweden, my mom and my dad came with me and volunteered. And not only having the support of my community here, but also having the support of the ski cross community, the volunteers that make every event possible. And it's moms and dads and people whose kids have moved on from the sport but love it so much that they keep coming back every year to make it possible for the next generation, that keep the sport alive and keep the sport alive inside of the people that they support.
All right. Now, let's talk a little bit about your future goals. What are your short-term and long-term goals in ski cross?
I said it earlier, but moving into this next season, I really want to start a World Cup. I've hit that 100 points, and hopefully I'll get a start at the Nakiska World Cup this coming season. If it's not in Nakiska, it will be in Ontario. Short term, I want to build strength in the gym. I want to increase my endurance over the summer and just be able to maintain a healthy lifestyle moving into next season. And yeah, looking forward to next season, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's always things to work on then, yeah. All right, now I just want to get a little bit personal. How do you unwind and relax when you're not training or competing?
Not training and competing. I like spending time with friends, going out, seeing places, so going on hikes with my friends, being outdoors, spending time with my sister, and ultimately I think it's just about finding something that you enjoy doing, and it takes a big mental load off of you when you can just go out and do something that you enjoy rather than having to put your mental energy towards that. So
And what are some of your interests and hobbies outside of skiing?
Outside of skiing, I grew up playing multiple sports, including volleyball, basketball, and softball. I've been looking at joining a softball league in Calgary over the summer. I enjoy going out with friends and dancing, ranchmans, two-stepping, all that. And yeah, just unwinding, spending time with friends, a good float down a river. Like, can't go wrong when you're with the right people.
That's for sure. Now let's talk a little bit about the community and your impact. How do you stay connected with the Valley Ski Club and your roots in Alliance? Or, well, your roots here and then obviously in the Galahad area where you grew up?
I always try my best to come home, and when I do come home, it's about going out to the businesses that I enjoy visiting. For example, Coots Home Hardware, Forster's Greenhouse, getting in touch with the people that I always know have supported me since day one, and eventually, hopefully, coming back to the Valley Ski Hill and carrying on with what my sister started, introducing ski cross to the hill and to the upcoming athletes, and just being there when it matters.
Okay, and what impact do you hope to have on the ski community and young athletes following in your footsteps? Because, I mean, just thinking about it, I don't know if you feel like the odds have been stacked against you. I mean, you come from, a small hill out in, remote Flagstaff County, and you're competing against people that have trained, they train in the mountains in BC or, all over the place. Did that ever dawn on you that, did you feel like you were up against some pretty hefty odds, but you've definitely overcome them?
I definitely feel like it sets me apart when they're looking through the list of who's coming to the race, and under hills they see Lake Louise, Sunshine, Big White, Valley. Where's Valley? So it always, when I was younger, it always made me chuckle a little bit when they'd be going through the awards and they'd be listing off those big mountains, and they'd look and they're like, Maren Vincett, Valley.
Like it's Alliance, isn't it? Or is that what they call it?
No, officially our name for like our club and like our competing club was the Valley Ski Club, which often got confused with Snow Valley in Edmonton, and I don't know how many times I said no, not Snow Valley, but
no, but as a joke, sometimes they say, it's the mountain just near Alliance.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Us and Table Mountain, definitely. Idra for sure was a mountain. We were up in like the Shield, so it was like glacier-esque and not a tree in sight. But no, I definitely feel like it might have maybe not set me back, but I might have not had the same opportunities presented to me because of where I grew up. But I definitely think that I've gotten a whole different set of opportunities that they didn't even think were available and were possible. And I think that makes me a very unique athlete in a sense that I've had the opportunity to compete in many sports and attend school, and I couldn't be more grateful for it.
Yeah, it makes you very well-rounded. But it also shows, you've proven that you don't have to be from, the big mountains to go far in this sport. You've kind of made up for that through hard work and perseverance, don't you think?
I definitely think that it's not where someone comes from that makes them who they are. It's the work that they put in and the grit that they have and the people that they have behind them that makes them who they are and the athlete that they're willing to be. Some people think that they get a free ride because they have Whistler behind their name or Big White behind their name. And in the end, that might be the thing that comes and bites them in the butt. But I think it keeps you humble and makes you realize just how hard you have to work for it.
And do you feel like you're a role model to to so many young kids looking up to you and seeing how far you've gone, and they may have some similar dreams?
I'd hope so. I really do. I hope that the kids that I've taught down here and refed in basketball and volleyball, that they see where I'm at now and realize that it's a possibility for them, and that if they want something like that, that they can go and chase it and achieve it, and that they don't have to give up on something because they came from a River Valley Hill or a Division I school instead of a big Edmonton or Calgary sports school, that every opportunity is possible if you chase it.
Yeah, no matter where you're from.
No matter where you're from.
All right. Is there anything else you want to add? Go ahead.
I'd say just saying thank you to the people, like my coaches throughout the year. I've been part of many, many clubs, starting here at the Valley Ski Club with mainly my dad as my coach growing up, moving to an Edmonton club for ski cross with Michelle Offerman, and moving on from there to Evolve with Matthew Leduc, who used to be on the national team. And more importantly, the man who gets me all of my equipment as far as my boots and skis go, Sandy Webster. They've all been nothing but amazing to me, and I am so grateful for them and to have them behind me.
All right. Well, thank you, Maren, for sharing your thoughts and experiences with us today. It's been a pleasure having you on the Flagstaff County podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate you taking time out of your day and coming down to do this and letting young athletes know that it's possible.
Yeah, take care of yourself and all the best with the rest of your career.
Thank you very much.